In this we're going to look at how to output an alpha channel. So I have this footage here from greenlayers.com. I'm going to add it to the render queue, and I'm going to click on the output module. Just click on the word lossless here. Now you think there would be an output alpha channel button, and there's not, but there's actually a good reason why there's not. You see, After Effects doesn't want to lead you on, tease you, make you think that all formats can output alpha channels because they can't. Now I happen to know that if you're outputting a QuickTime movie with the animation codec, you can see that here on the right, then you can have an alpha channel, and here's how you do that. Under depth, change it from millions of colors to millions of colors plus. Now if that's not working, you can change the channels from RGB to RGB and alpha, and automatically depth will change to millions of colors plus. Likewise, you can go to the format options and change the color depth here to millions of colors plus. But again, there are a lot of other file formats that, let's say for example, you select H.264. If you select that as your file format and come down here to channels, you try to look for RGB and alpha, you'll see that it's grayed out. H.264 files just can't have an alpha channel. Windows Media AVI files, most of the time you can't have an alpha channel there either. So keep that in mind. If we were going to output this guy and we wanted to use him, say in a city background or something, we had a video of a city, we wanted to just put him dancing in that city, we would need to export him with an alpha channel. If we didn't, then he would have a black background. The background wouldn't be transparent, so we would have to get rid of it and key it out once we brought it back into the city scene. And the fact that there's a dark background here and he has dark clothing on, that would be a tough chore that we just shouldn't have to do. So remember, especially if you're doing pre-rendering, which we'll talk about later on in the training series, if you're doing that pre-render, you want to make sure an output with an alpha channel. Now before we leave this movie on alpha channels, I want to show you one other option for exporting alpha channels. I'm just going to select a file format that I know can output alpha channels here. And if we come back down here, we can choose whether we want to output a straight alpha channel or a pre-multiplied alpha channel. Now a straight alpha channel is a little bit more straightforward. The transparency information is in the alpha channel and the subject is completely opaque. But when we talk about a pre-multiplied alpha channel, what that means is that some of the background color is mixed into the edges of the subject. That usually makes the alpha channel a little bit more difficult to work with, but it usually results in a better composite in the end if you know what color the object is going to be blended into. Now After Effects is awesome. After Effects does really well with both straight and pre-multiplied alpha channels, but not every program does. So you need to make sure if you're going to be using your footage in some other program that you are aware of what type of alpha channels are supported by that program. So that's how you export alpha channels from After Effects.